Hey guys, we're back. This is going to be game one of a three-game Grail Quest practice tournament we played this weekend. For Grail Quest this year, they're going to have banded comp and Swedish comp. You have to be between a 10 and a 16. If you can be more than 16, but they'll round you back down to 16. It can't be like a 9.9 or anything like that. You have to be exactly 10 or more. And they're going to add your comp scores into the overall at the end. And for each game, your comp difference will be in victory points. So for this game right here, I'm 13.4, my opponent's 14.4, so he's going to get 100 bonus victory points at the end of the game. For the games, we'll be doing a 20-0 system, but you also have bonus objectives, where you can get more battle points than 20. For this one, you'll get 2 battle points if you control more table quarters than your opponent. You'll get 3 battle points if you have a unit with the most models within 6 inches of the center of the table. And I don't think it doesn't say fortitude, it just says most models in a unit. So that's going to be a lot very favorable to me with Orcs and Goblins. So this army I'm using here is going to be pretty similar to the army I had in my last 2 battle ports where I was practicing for Grail Quest. The main change is going to be like I'm going to have a level 2 instead of just a level 1. And the rock pile, I like it so much, but it's just too hard to control. I'm replacing that right now with the Great Chaos Spine Beast with Always Strikes First. And I'm going to have a second troll instead of 2 wolf chariots. Those are the main changes I'm going to have. And my comp score will be 13.4. My opponent has Warriors of Chaos. And I really believe that even though Swedish comp really comp hits the net list and stuff they use so much, that book is so good that the third and second tier choices are just so much better than everybody else's, I think. Now one thing is, he came here with a 15 comp, but he was taking a Bone Grinder Giant, which was illegal because that's over the 350 point cap. So at the last minute he had to make some changes. He swapped out the Bone Grinder with Gorgon and Fen Beast, and he had to add another unit of Chaos Hounds. So that's going to decrease his comp from 15 to 14.4. But he's going to be pretty unconventional army still, though. He has a Slanish Steeds. He's going to have a Chaos Dragon Lord, so that's going to be really interesting. And like I said, that's not comped very hard, and it's a very scary unit. The Gorgon, though, and the Fen Beast, that's not what he's probably normally going to take, so it's hard to get a feel for what his real army would be at Grail Quest based on this. So start looking at my deployment. I have my Ragnarok and Duke of Orc there together. I really, when I use the Ragnarok, I like that it can climb over buildings. It gives you a little bit more maneuverability when you deploy it. Mainly this side is my monsters, and I have my center of my Savage Orcs with the War Machines behind it, which you'll see in the next slide. So this is the meat of my army. I also have 28 Savages. What I'm finding in these games is they're mainly dead weight. I like them so much, but they struggle to kill anything. And I have this picture of my magic spells, and it's important to note I have these 5 spells in all 3 of my games. Sometimes the level 2 has like foot, sometimes level 3 has foot, stuff like that goes back and forth. But these are all natural rolls. I never naturally rolled for headbutt. There was some double rolling where I could change things, but I never naturally rolled for headbutt, so I don't have that in any of my games. And before we started, we had special guest Ben here, showing what he would do if Gary Busey was actually in the building. So now we took a look at my opponent's deployment. I want to note that he is Night Saber on YouTube. He has his own channel, but he's going to be joining the BullcityWargaming channel soon, because he's now a member of the Fancy Lads. From what I can tell, his little gaming group, they sort of started losing members and stuff. So I think what was left of them are folding into the Fancy Lads. So he's got 2 Slanish sorcerers behind this little hill here. His Chaos Dragon Lord, it was already broken. He knocked it over before we started playing onto the floor. And I think I freaked out more about it than he did. It didn't bother him at all, but it was kind of broken at the base there. So if you see through this battle, it's going to have a hard time standing up. But yeah, I freaked out when he knocked it over. And so he has like the two mounted units, the chariots and the warriors there. I think they're the Marcus Zinch, and his BSB is going to be in there as well. And looking at the rest of his deployment, I also want to note the giant is really a Gorgon, and the treekin you see there is going to be a Fen Beast. And I will say this: I played 3 games. Everybody had Fen Beast in all 3 games. Nobody tested them for stupidity in all 3 games. So if anybody wonders, did they ever fail stupidity? No, they didn't, because none of my opponents ever tested them for stupidity that I know of. They might have tested and I wasn't paying attention, but to my knowledge, nobody ever rolled stupidity for the Fen Beast. And now the Vanguards. I really only Vanguard the Wolf Riders. When he won the roll off for Vanguard, he pretty much stopped my big boss from Vanguard, and then I was like, I won't Vanguard him because I can get first turn, I can charge those dogs and already get them off the table. So he he doesn't Vanguard his yeah, he does, but he Vanguards all 3 of his units. Okay, so he does win roll to go first, and he's already zipping on this side here. He pretty much has control of this side of the table. I was mainly worrying about the center because it is worth 3 battle points. You know, and he was able to put his Chaos Dragon down after I had my Savages down. So I'm a bit worried about that coming into the flanker rear later on in the game, and that's going to have to be a top priority of shooting and magic for me. And with the rest of his movement, I stop anything he tries to do with magic. He tries to get, I think, treason on my regular Savages, and I'm going to stop that. So he has a, you know, not a very eventful first turn. Okay, my first turn with his level 2 sorcerer being that close to my Savages, I pretty much have to go ahead and charge in there. Hopefully I'll beat it down and then go ahead and overrun into the Slanish riders. They're mounted on the Slanish steeds. Even though I know that means the Chaos Dragon is going to come into them. But I mean, the Chaos Dragon is going to come into me sooner or later anyway, so I'd rather, you know, pick up some points before that happens. And hopefully I can take some wounds off of it before it comes into me, and hopefully my Savages can do something to it, so that if it's living to come into my biggins, it'll be very, very badly hurt by that point. Now my other charges, I'm able to get the chariot around the Wolf Riders and into the flank of these horsemen, and my solo boss goes into the dogs that had moved up in front of him. And you can see, you know, Blood Stallion and his boys, they're pretty much, you know, they're behind the church here. You know, he's praying he's going to live through a game. So after magic and shooting, you can always see I had failed animosity with my biggin unit here, and I already had to kill one of my own guys. In my shooting and magic, I'm putting Flutagork on his Sorcerer Lord. It does nothing. I think he scrolls it all off the bat. Everything is shooting at his Dragon Lord. I do nothing. Everything either scatters off. I think one rival misfires. I can't shoot this turn. I might have put my yeah, I put a Doom Diver on his other sorcerer, and I'm able to do 1 wound to it. So going into combat, right here you're seeing my solo big boss below this picture here was fighting his dogs. I beat him up bad. They're on double ones, and he rolls double ones, and they stick. Oh. But over here, I kill the Sorcerer Lord. I don't know if I killed it outright or if I just ran it down, but otherwise, either way, it's dead, and I overrun into the Slanish horseman. And I'm still thinking, you know, the Chaos Dragon is probably going to kill me, but I'm hoping I can wipe out these guys too, and I'll pick up a decent amount of points to mainly cancel out what I'm going to lose when I lose these Savages. I think I worked it out where I would come out about 10-15 points ahead. And then combat's over here. I also, my chariot wipes out those horsemen. And, you know, I'm going to get charged by his chariot, but I'll just flame my chariot. Okay, in his turn 2, he's going to charge that, you know, Dragon Lord into the Savages, which I knew I couldn't stop. And he's going to put the Fen Beast up here in front of my Savages to try to slow them down. I'm not too worried about that. I'll happily pick up that 65 points, and If it keeps me away from his dragon, if by overrunning, I'll be fine. I'll be happy about that. Now in magic and shooting, I again do nothing with magic. In shooting, I'm gonna find out now. I mean, this is probably open list, but I didn't ask. I was, you can ask anybody anything what they have, and I didn't ask. And I put a Doom Diver on his warriors, and now that's when I found out he's got blasted standard. And so my Doom Diver is going to need sixes to wound. I got 2 hits. I rolled double sixes to wound, so haha, take that blasted standard. And so we come to the end of combats, and yes, I get ran down badly by the Chaos Dragon. I do no wounds to it, but I do wipe out his Slanish Horsemen, Slanish Steed Horsemen, whatever they're called. So I picked up some decent points there. So going to my turn 2, he did charge his chariot at my chariot. I tried to flee, but he still ran me down. So his chariot was out in the open, so now I start charging his chariot with things. I charge with my Ragnarok, he flees, and then I charge it with a troll, and it flees back towards Buttstalion's boys. So then when I charge Buttstalion's boys at the fleeing chariot, it moves back a little bit the other way, but they're able to catch that chaos. It's a Gore Beast chariot, I believe. Yeah, and so they're able to catch that and run it down. So all that stuff and charge the same thing. Otherwise, I'm doing like a little dance over here with the Gorgon, trying to get to it. I'm kind of ignoring it with my Ragnarok because I'm thinking, well, the Ragnarok can take it on if it does charge in me. So I'm not facing that way. That's why I charged the Ragnarok at the Gore Beast chariot. Also, I traded this other troll here. I charged it at some dogs, and you see they fled and got away and fled through his Chaos Warriors. So in shooting, in magic first, I try to do a foot onto his warriors now because I know he's got blasted standard, so war machines are worthless against it. I do get a foot off. He's got the 3+ ward on his BSB, so I do no damage to that. And I think I kill 1 or 2 warriors at the most, and then the spell roll a 1, and he puts it on my Ragnarok. But luckily, it scatters, but he hits. But he rolls a 1 to wound, so Ragnarok dodges a bullet. And shooting, I get a direct hit with my Rock Lava. He makes his ward on his general. I wound his dragon, and I roll 1 wound. Aw, sad face. Now here's my Doom Diver shot. Again, I know he's got the blasted standard, but I put it on the warriors because I'm trying to whittle them down a little bit because I'm worried about a showdown between my big ones and that later, and maybe the Chaos Dragon as well. I got 3 hits. I roll triple sixes again on these warriors, so they're going down even when I need 6s to hit. 6s to wound. But what does he do? He rolls Marks of Zinch, triple sixes to save my 666 wounds. Oh my goodness. Triple sixes followed by triple sixes. I'm surprised this store didn't just burst into flames. So this is how the table looks at the end of the turn. I did also charge that Fen Beast and take it out. My overrun, luckily the trolls were right there in front of it from their charges, so I didn't overrun too far, so I don't have to worry about the warriors getting an easy charge on me on their turn. Although I don't know, I feel like I hopefully would have won that, but it's always scary fighting against Chaos Warriors. So Warriors turn 3. This is basically the end of the turn. He's charged his Chaos Dragon at the Doom Diver and his level 2 Sorcerer at a Rock Lava, and he's going to destroy them both. I think other than that, he rallies his wolves back there. Not his wolves, his dogs, whatever you call it, back there. And again, in Magic, he doesn't really get anything off. I've had Fist of Gork off on my Shaman the entire time so far. That's why you see the little card there. So now my turn 3. Charge my troll. What did I charged my troll at something. I think I charged the other dog unit, and they ran, and I was able to. I wasn't able to catch them. I must have been able to catch them way up there. I must have caught those dogs. My Ragnarok had turned around to face his Gorgon, and I reformed my savages here instead of charging at the warriors because you do get 3 battle points for being a center table, so I don't want to get too far away from there. I want to be able to face that dragon. I was in a position where he needed only like an 8 to charge me with his dragon, but he needed a 10 to charge me with his warriors. When I reformed like this, he needed an 8 to charge me with the warriors, but he needed like a at least a 10 to get me with the dragon, so I'd rather have the warriors come in than the dragon. And I know the chariot's got a pretty easy charge, so I'm not too worried about that though. But I just didn't want the dragon coming into me. I'd rather the warriors come in, so it's hard now for his dragon to get into me. And in Magic here, I'm gonna try to put Photogoric on his Dragon Lord again. I'm really not gonna do anything. I've only got one Rock Lava left, and I don't even know what it shoots at. It doesn't do anything. Also, you see the Harpies up here, the Bustarian boys. They had charged dogs and ran them down, and then they land all the way there after their charge. Now his turn 4, he does charge his Gorgon at my Ragnarok, and he tries to get his warriors and his chariot. I don't know if he charges his dragon too. I think he tried to charge his dragon too and failed that. But he failed his warriors and his dragon. Only the chariot makes it. That's best case scenario for me. I mean, that's a perfect scenario for me, that only the chariot's coming in and not those other two. And he only needed the 8 for the warriors, and luckily I think he rolled like a 5, so he failed that. So at the end of his turn, I destroy the chariot and I reform to face that dragon, because now I want to charge his dragon on my turn. And I think that's the perfect thing. I'm hoping I can do something to it. And I forget that he has 2 breath weapons on his Chaos Dragon, because he used 1 up on my regular savages. So I'm like, well, I don't have to worry about no breath weapon. Oh crap, I forget that he has 2 because it's Chaos Dragon. And you'll see here there's 3 wounds on my Ragnarok. I had done 2 wounds to his Gorgon. He just 3 me. I actually lose that combat. I was stubborn on 6 and I make it. Oh, my Ragnarok almost embarrassed me, because I thought for sure that Gorgon was a pushover. And it almost got my Ragnarok. So bottom of my turn, in his magic phase, if you see the card of the goblins, he put something on my goblins where they had to take strength 4 hits or something every turn. And it only killed, at the end of every turn, it only killed 1 goblin last time. Alright, so I charged at his Chaos Dragon. I make it charge Duke of Orc there into the flank of his warriors. Bloodstain's boys up there, they're charging dogs. They've lived through the game. They've taken out a Gorby's chariot from a charge. They've taken out other dog unit from a charge. Finally, he holds because they've been running things down from charges. They actually haven't had to fight yet. They've just been running things down. All right, so now I also start moving my goblins up towards the center, because it's models, not like, well, I guess it's models. So there's 21 goblins, well, it's like 20 now there, versus like only like 13 or so warriors. So if I could hold on to that at the end of the game with the goblins, I'll get to 3 victory points, even though I know if I break this Chaos Lord, my savage is going to be far away from the center of the table. So in my magic, I get area go off on my savages to get those rerolls. I only have the 1 lava left. I don't even know what it shoots at. I think it had no real targets. I don't know. I don't think, no, I think the only target he had was the level 2, and it wasn't able to do anything because everything else basically was in combat or just too far away to worry about. I mean, there's like some fleeing dogs that eventually flee off the table, but yeah, there was nothing really for that lava to shoot at. But okay, and the end of combat's here. You can see my Ragnarok kills the Gorgon. I reformed that because the sorcerer is down there about to charge that other lava, the last lava I have. Duke of Orc embarrasses himself, does not get a single hit with his attacks on the BSB. All of them fail to hit. The spike attacks maybe kill 1 guy. On Thunderstorm maybe kills 1 guy. He does a couple wounds to Duke of Orc. I lose the combat and I'm ran down. Alright, and you don't see here, but the Harpies there destroy those dogs. They don't destroy the dogs, they kill most of them, and they run them down fleeing, so that's why you see them. They're not dead, they're just not in the picture. Okay, and in the big combat, he kills my BSB with his Castor. He issues a challenge. I decline it because I can do a lot more damage with all the savage attacks than being in a challenge. So I decline it. He sends my general back that has Fist of Gorg on it and keeps my BSB up there. But he kills my BSB. Actually, my general wasn't even in contact with him, so I was going to make way with it, but I knew he was going to. So he had issue challenge first, and he's sending that back. He was already in contact with my BSB. He kills it. but I do 4 wounds to his dragon, no wounds to his lord. I still win the combat, but he gets away. I mean, he loses by 3. He breaks, but he gets away here. You can see he gets away by 2 inches, and he stays on the table by 2 inches. Now, as long as he's fleeing, I'll get half points. I got half points for the dragon anyway. But so close to taking that out. And it turns out we have to end the game here. We had just about 5 minutes left. I thought we could rush through our turn 5, but I think everybody wanted to go to lunch, so we weren't able to do it. In a turn 5, I don't know. I think I would have killed the dragon, but on the other hand, I think I would have lost, or it would have been the same amount of victory points because, I mean, battle points because you get 2 points for controlling table corners. If I beat that dragon and if I have to pursue because I'm frenzied, if I go off the table, I don't think I can claim that table quarter. So then we'd each be claiming 1 table quarter. So I would have lost 2 battle points from that, even though I think I would have gained 2 battle points from killing the dragon and get the general bonus rather than just getting half points for them because they're fleeing. So that was tough, and I think he would have killed. He definitely would have killed this troll. Maybe overrun into my big boss if my big boss didn't break from panic. But yeah, I may have come out ahead on battle points, or it would have been a push from killing that dragon because of those 2 battle points. Now, also, as you can see in this picture, I have more models within 6 inches of the center than he does in that unit, so I get those 3 battle points as well. So when we add this up, it's going to be a 16-9 victory for the Orcs. It was tough to get points out of that warrior army, even though it was coming towards me because they were so spread out and so fast. And he was able to dictate a lot of the combats, except for when I was able to get the charge of my savages. I think that was my one good moment of being able to get the charge that I really wanted on against a unit of his. It was worth a lot of points, and not a unit that was, basically chaff. But yeah, it was a real fun game. It was really tactical. I wish he could have been able to have the monsters that he wanted from Storm of Magic. To choose himself to have the Gorgon, because I think he would choose something different. But he just didn't have time to really choose something because he was planning on having the Bone Grinder Giant. I mean, if you could take the Bone Grinder Giant, I would have the Bone Grinder Giant. So, I mean, that thing is awesome. I would take the Bone Grinder Giant if you're allowed to. But yeah, this was a real fun game, and I want to keep track of as we're going through these battle reports what the difference in victory points from comp is going to be, because the 100 points difference was the difference between me getting 1 more battle point. Now this isn't going to affect my next matchup. I will be playing against the same person no matter what, but we're going to see as we go along the games, would it affect my matchups, how do I think it would have done, what's it going to cost me. Right now I think it's cost me 1 victory point. So if I can get a better comp score without losing power in my list, that's what I really think I need to start focusing on trying to do, because it seems like that victory points difference, which is something we're not used to doing around here, does have an effect on the games. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I have 2 more games left. My next game is going to be against Wood Elf. I've never played them in their new book. Been looking forward to doing that. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and feel free to comment or subscribe or like, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.